All right, so I got a huge gash on my leg about 2 weeks ago. And for someone with dermatillomania, that is like a constant trigger. I mean, it's a texture thing, it's a mental thing. Um, it's it becomes like a bit of a possession to have this irregularity on your skin and just wanting to basically tear at it all the time. And with this one that I got, I didn't touch it once. And so it was very interesting because I documented the process of, the healing process and what you go through when you actually let your body heal, where it, in a way, gives you like a glimpse into what's going on in your mind when you don't act on it. Because when you act on it, you're so much in it and of it that you're not actually aware of or observing the mental processes taking place that led you to act on it. So I documented this on my Instagram account, and one of the interesting things I noticed was the intrusive thoughts because for me, with OCD, I never could relate to the intrusive thought aspect of it. And for the first time, I really saw like, wow, these thoughts and images of me, tearing off this scab on my leg or like really penetrating my mind. It's like I'm not calling them up and actively, bringing them to my awareness, but they are literally intruding in my mind and compelling me to act on them. And that was very interesting. I didn't act on them. I let the thing heal. And now that it's almost healed, um, I still have a scar, but it's a lot less visible than it would have been. But the interesting thing is that now I have new intrusive thoughts. And these intrusive thoughts are of the moment that I injured myself. And this is another thing that I'm just now becoming aware of. I had been developing a body awareness over the past year or more. And this process, I mean, it's not every day that you get the opportunity to have an injury, but it happened now, so much time later. And so I was able to walk this process with it, and it really opened up these internal processes that are going on in my mind towards the injury. So the new intrusive thoughts are the moment that the injury took place. Now, when it took place in reality, I didn't feel any pain. And it was almost like, I don't know if I suppressed the pain um, or went into like a bit of an adrenaline, and so I didn't feel it. I just immediately tended to the wound and kind of forgot about that moment. And then once it was healed, that moment kept coming back into my mind, but with this intensity of my whole body going into a cringing experience where my face like cringes up because I was like, oh, that was so awful. That was like such violence done unto my body. And it's almost like because I didn't have awareness of it in the moment, I kind of experienced it after, like a bit of a trauma. And and then that got me thinking about like, well, what is my body going through with the skin picking? And I looked back and recalled memories and really opened up myself to my body's experience. And I'll tell you about that now. The experience of when you go into a skin picking session, and I'm really curious if people can relate to this. It's as if an entity enters your body, like almost like you're being possessed by something, like something with its own life force is entering your body and taking over, almost like a schizophrenia, where you, as your awareness, almost get pushed out of your body and you kind of watch from outside and you're thinking like, no, 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 stop, don't do this, what are you doing? But the entity, the thing, won't listen, and you watch in this helplessness and powerlessness as you yourself go through acting out the compulsions. And then on a more physical level, it's it feels like a pressure, like your whole body is being squeezed as this thing comes in and pushes you out. And the breathing becomes almost the bare minimum breathing to just keep you alive. And it's almost like all of your body functions are just doing the basic bare minimum to keep you alive while the compulsion, while the possession takes place. And when you are able to see this and recognize it and actually feel it, I mean, really place yourself in a skin picking session and look at how your body feels, where it's like something else is in your body and you're like, just, I mean, I've heard people describe how they get cold all over, and you know, they really bring themselves, put their bodies in this point of survival where even like heating your own body becomes secondary to the compulsion. So your body's basic functions are compromised and diminished. And when I was looking at this and asking myself, like, okay, what's the solution? What I saw was, you know, I have made other videos about bringing your awareness in, because your awareness is getting pushed out. That little voice that says, no, this isn't right, stop, that is getting pushed out and disempowered, when what we should be doing is actually taking that voice, listening to it, and making it real, giving it substance, giving it physicality. But what we're making real and giving substance is this possession feeling, this thing that feels like an entity. Like we're giving that life and breathing life into that, instead of that part of us that is actually trying to look out for our best interest and stand up for ourselves. And that part does exist in each one of us. So watch my video about you know, what to do during a skin picking session, because that is actually focused on bringing through and breathing life into that part of you that I just mentioned. It's called, well, I'll just put the link in the video description. And then another video about talking about you have a place in this world and bringing in your awareness to what it is you're missing out on in life, and that role that you play in your reality that nobody else can play, that you are abdicating and missing out on when you lock yourself in a room for hours. Bring your awareness to that, and that's what's really important. So I'll put a link to that video as well. But the one aspect of my how to shorten a skin picking session is about breathing, because what I realize is that our breath is being so diminished. And I mean, oxygen is so important for the body, and when you are not taking your full breaths, it's like you are pressuring your body and putting your body into a state of survival, which is just going to trigger you and make you more vulnerable and susceptible to being triggered and feeling powerless and helpless, because you're in a state of survival, which is a state of diminishment. So to really take those deep breaths when you're in this kind of possession, because what my body was essentially showing me when I was getting these intrusive thoughts about the moment that the accident took place was that the body does have its own awareness as well, and does go through trauma as well. And we're actually putting it through trauma when we do skin picking sessions and picking. And you know, a lot of people will say, like, I don't feel the pain when I'm doing it. But the body is feeling the pain. The body is aware of the violence being done unto it. And those experiences are being suppressed. And so your body is existing, for the most part, in this state of survival and this state of violence. And we want to change that. We want to change our relationship to our body, where we open ourselves up to more awareness and communication with it, as well as you know, support our bodies and change our body's experience, not to one of survival and violence and lack of consideration and disrespect and disregard, to one of care, nurturing, comfort, security. You know, there is enough air. I can breathe. and there isn't that concern that the body's in. I mean, the body is like basically living in a whole other reality. And it's almost like we have three realities that we have to bring together into one, make it real, instead of separating ourselves into the disorder and the possessions, the awareness, which is being pushed out and diminished, and then the body, which is going through its own life experience, unbeknownst to us, unless we open ourselves up to it. So what I've been practicing has been almost retraining myself on a physical level, so that I can change my body's experience, my body, which is me. I am not, in fact, separate from it. I've just basically, we have all shut ourselves off. We've shut down that relationship and communication, and disregarded it and suppressed the body's experience. So to open up that communication, but also live in such a way that I'm basically telling my body, like, you're okay, and I won't do violence unto you, and you're safe. And looking at what practices you can bring in to create not a physical memory of violence and survival, but a physical memory of nurturing and support. So very interesting how this intrusive thought of that moment of the accident keeps popping up in my head without me actively calling on it. When you want to remember something, you have to like pull it up and remember. But this is like really coming in, and it feels very violent. And I only realized that it wasn't my experience as my awareness. It was my body's experience. And it was like, oh man, wow, like that's very interesting that my body has an experience. Like, who considers that? Let's start to consider that, and let's start to play a more active role in what our body's experience actually is, and create an environment of safety and support for our body. Now, that can mean nutrition, that can mean how you touch yourself, when you shower, or put cream on, or massage yourself, and just also opening yourself up to the possibility that you can communicate with your body, you can reassure it. It is a living organism. It is you. So essentially, you're opening this communication, this nurturing, this care, this gentleness, with yourself, because your body is you, and you are your body. It's not like a pet, It is who we are. So very interesting points coming through here that this will be I have been doing this, but now I have more awareness about it. This is unfolding in real time for me with this experience. So more videos to come on the point, and it will be an interesting journey and process. Okay, thanks everyone. Bye.